It's the sizzling Saturday, and this is Mocha D. Your time right now is 20 minutes just before the hour of 9 o'clock. No, you are not late. You are just on time. We are moving in time and on time. Thank you for choosing TMA the morning after, where you just release, where the whole week's headlines become our conversations. And this morning in studio, we have Sibusiso Mtuli. I told you about the author. It's coming into studio. Yes, it's happening. And he has just released his debut, The Chairman. Now, The Chairman is a book that you're gonna want to pick up. We had prior talk, post pre talk, not pre talk, this is like post almost. You won't understand. We had discussions this morning, and it was beautiful,
Thank you.
diving into where, how, when, who the person it is. But I just want you to introduce yourself to my listener.
Thank you so much, Mocha D. I really appreciate the invitation to be here. I'm very grateful to be a part of the Poort FM. I'm here in Esteres, and it's my first time in this community. And yeah, I'm just Busiso. I'm an establishing author. I'm not an author yet. I think let's let the people decide. I'm a storyteller. I'm a recovering addict. I'm a new person trying to live life again and see what I can pick up, what I can learn, what I can teach, and what I can share.
You have been teaching the masses.
Yeah.
When you say a new person, is there, what does that new person, who is that new person? What does it entail? Does it mean you let go of certain characteristics, you let go of certain patterns, you let go of who and who's that new person and who benefits from that new person?
So definitely it is somebody who has let go of old patterns. It is somebody who has let go of old habits, things that do not serve. I had to explore myself to understand what does not serve me. I had to explore myself to understand what truths I should not conform to, what false beliefs I've been told about myself, about the community I live in, about the world that I live in, what I relate to, what I do not relate to. I had to question a lot. I had to unearth a lot of the mud that I was buried under, because for most part of it, I didn't really see myself becoming what I aspired to be. It was difficult to relate to the definition of the dream I had within myself. So by new, I mean this is an actual attempt to be what I believe I can possibly be. Yeah.
And when you say, because an attempt have to be done many and many and many.
Absolutely.
How many times did you have to fall?
Yeah.
Get up?
Countless times. I can't really put a number on it. I can remember times when I was 5 years old, trying to build a go-kart from two bicycles, and one was smaller than the other. I took my sister's bike apart. She hasn't forgiven me till today. And then my bike was a little bit bigger, and tried to make a go-kart. Things like that. I tried to improvise on a lot of things. I grew up way faster than I think was intentional. Yeah.
And was there a reason for that you had to grow up way faster than
I can say in relation to any disenfranchised youth, I had an understanding of the world which was very distorted. And after my parents got divorced, I took it upon myself to create my own rules. I found myself in the wrong circles. I found myself with the wrong friends. I had false belief systems of what I understood acceptance was. And I made friends with very older people who did dangerous things. And I felt part of very incorrect circles, and it was easy for me to relate with them because I felt outcasted, I felt neglected, I felt, I would say, unrelieved, and there was just something that I was searching for, and I thought I had found it in these circles. And I was introduced to substances, I was introduced to reckless behavior, to not necessarily thinking things through, because it was popular to be a part of crowds where you were spontaneous.
Because
When
there's something
it was
euphoric about it,
exciting, you
it's
know,
exciting,
it
living
was
on the edge.
exciting, exactly. Not conforming to rules, you know. So those were the type of things that, you know, I became a part of. And looking back at it, if I had conformed to the fact that I need to be disciplined, if I had conformed to the fact that I needed to understand the house rules, you know, I would not have ended up in some of the places that I ended up in. Not discrediting the lessons I learned in those places, and, you know, how I understand God now, which is good orderly direction. Perhaps it was my purpose. I needed to go through that so I could be able to share the story of why a child at 12 years old, why a child at 8 years old should just be a child at 8 years old, why a child at 12 years old should just be a child at 12 years old. So
Just being in the role that I was meant to be,
absolutely,
and not looking for places and ways to escape, because it becomes
absolutely,
too heavy. And this
absolutely,
heaviness, it can't be carried because, first and foremost, I do not have the experience. I wasn't taught how to be ruthless or or crazy. You just see it and you act, and it's sort of like take it until you make it.
absolutely.
It is not your personality. You told me earlier on it took you 10 months to write the chairman.
Yes.
In those 10 months, pardon me, what was the thought process? What was you getting up in the morning, and when you did the final page for the day, what happened in between?
So, how the book started was an idea based on the fact that I needed to journal. And I had this story just burning inside of me, about this young man, and how this young man really wanted to be a part of a legacy. How he didn't know what the legacy actually was. He didn't know who the person who started the journey of this legacy was before he started, and how he amassed the power that he amassed. And he culturally did not comprehend what legacy was. And, you know, things look pretty on the outside. I mean, you can look at somebody in a very prominent position and you would want to relate to them. You would want to be able to achieve the things that they have achieved. And you don't know what are the mechanics behind what he needed to do to get there. So our journey starts in the story where Sianda, who is a little young boy, walks into a room that is known in his house that he is not supposed to be in. And in this room, there's a mattress. It's a cold, dreary room. And what then happens is he discovers a box. In that box, there's a picture. There's a picture of his father, and there's a picture with his father with guns. There's newspaper that talks about the underworld of the taxi industry, that talks about how, you know, certain people are doing certain things in political circles, in very influential spaces, and nobody necessarily knows where the source of the power is, but there does seem to be a society around these individuals, and there's a code. This young boy is then met by his father, and his father does not shout, his father does not raise any alarm, but the father then says, "Listen, young man, you are too young to understand what you are looking at, and I need to get you out of here." The father then decides to introduce the boy to a concept of saying, you know what? Because of what this legacy holds for me, I do not want you to take part in anything that this is, because this is not a life for you. This is not a space that you must exist in. So, therefore, I'm going to give you two options. It's either you want to study in the UK or you want to study in a prominent university here in this country. What is your choice? The son then chooses to go and study abroad, not knowing his father is literally leading him on a path to move him as far away as possible, to give him new life possibilities, whereby he does not need to get introduced to the forms and the ways and the methods of how he had to adapt to survive and create what people would regard as a prominent life. The story then goes into different characters in different spheres. Like, for instance, Kagiso grew up with his grandmother in the shacks in Alexandra, and his grandmother wants to see him live a better life, but does not live in the context of saying, you know what, we're impoverished because all we've got is love, all we've got is presence, all we've got is active attention. And for Kagiso, that was enough, but Kagiso did not want to see his grandmother struggle. So therefore, Kagiso wanted to go to Harvard. Kagiso wanted to better his life, and he studied. He was resilient, he was determined, he was focused, he was disciplined, because that's how his grandmother cultivated him to be. But on the other side, he was very attentive, looking at society from a lens of, you know what, there's so much that people can become, but how do they get there? Because they do not have the anticipation that they can actually achieve these things. So therefore, you know, his grandmother then gets him a job so that he can at least become economically sustained and be able to provide for himself. It's in that the chairman, who is Sianda's father, identifies characteristics in Kagiso and relates with him as he was in his youth, and says, you know what, there could be a successor. But I think I'll leave it there so that people can get involved
then you're
with.
sitting with the thought, I mean, why didn't he make his son a successor? I mean, then I can relate with Kagiso. If you would grow up in Alex and you know how it's structured, you out of Alex's street and immediately you're straight into to Sandton. Big flashy lights, beautiful cars, and you yearn for that because just a street away, you're impoverished.
Absolutely.
Up the road, you have these beautiful hotels, the Michelangelo, everything is there. So I would see how it's almost like you tap into this person's vulnerability, and life is crazy. You want to read this, Naomi? I definitely want to dig into this book and read this. What is your feeling on that?
I want more of this book. It's interesting.
He's a good storyteller.
Thank you. Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
We're looking forward to many more.
Yeah.
Many more engagements. We will follow you on your social handles.
Yes.
Can you please share that?
If you're looking for me on Instagram, it's Recover Hub Sibusiso. And on Facebook and my LinkedIn, it's Busiso Ethan Ntuli. Anywhere you're looking for me, it's my name, my middle name, and my surname. I don't have any aliases.
You don't? I want to tap into something quickly. You spoke about government, and earlier you spoke about poster boys. Were you part of the Twadar campaign?
Yes.
So you were a poster boy.
You know, unfortunately, you know, it's not something I'm proud of, because that mobilization, I saw so many people in need of recovery, and it was unfortunate to see so much silence, because I was a beneficiary of getting access to social development and Department of Health partnering for me to go to rehab. I didn't pay to go into treatment. Thank you to MEC Nomantu at the time, who is now the MEC of Social Development. So she literally rallied up a program. She created the proper structures to inform different hospitals or care facilities to establish programs. And there was a gentleman called Dr. Fabian Bennett. Unfortunately, the program is now stopped due to lack of funding or due to lack of agreements based on not finding common ground. And there's just a deep need for people to access care facilities that are adequately equipped to be able to help somebody detox. So let's get to understand the fact that just because somebody goes to rehab does not mean they have been treated. So somebody who is in rehab, for instance, let's say they're in a care facility or a wellness center or a wellness program, that person is detained. So if this person is detained, it means that the next step needs to happen, which is the psychological fragmenting of the person understanding why they are substance dependent. Then after that re-education, they need to then understand themselves. So there's a process that somebody has to go through, and I see a lot of people thinking that rehab is like a pill that's going to fix people, because then the person will get discharged after 3 months and they think 90 days, now the person is fixed. I was consuming substances for 17 years. it does not mean that I'm 683 days clean now, that now all of a sudden my neural patterns are fixed. Once a drug user, always a drug user. Once a substance user, always a substance user. Because my neurological transmitters have already embodied what the substance programs me to have as a reflex. So I already have a predisposition to have a reflex to want to solve my problems by consuming a substance. That is never going to change. So how do I need to combat that? I need to introduce a program. What is the program? There's many different programs somebody can take part in. For me personally, I use the Narcotics Anonymous platform. I do not deter from it. I use the STEP program, which is solution to every problem, my step ones, my step twos, my step threes, my step fours. Everything is a day at a time. And I believe that more conversations need to be had by previously active addicted members of society, because I'm going to remain an addict, but I'm just not active. So I'm not in active addiction, I'm inactive from addiction. So there needs to be more dialogue between us and the people who are currently active, but in safe spaces, because I'm not going to go to a trap house because it's going to be a trigger for me. I'm going to put myself in danger. So we need to put community centers to task to say, okay, here is a community center where Poort FM is. What resources can be deployed here, and not just based on the sensationalism where somebody is coming, and I won't say any names, and he's just trying to rally up people and say, yes, guys, sign up to go to rehab, but then there's no facilities. But what we did, just me and a few partners, we took over an abandoned school. We did not have any legal permission to do it. We didn't have any resources, and all we did is, okay guys, we can't house you in nice houses and nice facilities, but we can house you here. And we did. Eventually somebody came on board, the Al Tawaid Foundation. Thank you to Sheikh Ahmed, Gamal. They gave us food. They gave us food every single month. He still continues to do so, but now we just have no place to house them. And we managed to recover at least 12 boys. 5 of them are currently still not active in addiction. I've managed to give them jobs, and that is the success of what happened with the Tswada campaign, because after he rallied me for that, he didn't even contact me to ask, okay, Sibusiso, now how do we put your boys there or whatever. I constantly knocked. After.
I'm always about the aftercare. It's like you said.
Yeah.
It's not going to be gone in 3
True.
months, 6 months, 10 months,
Very true.
Because it's a neuro-linguistic pattern that needs to change.
Absolutely.
And you're part of that process. And I'm happy there's someone out there, even if it's just one or a movement, that can see, this is truly the issue, man.
Yeah.
Stop faffing about.
Absolutely.
Stop putting in words and make it all nice.
Absolutely.
Because recovery is messy. It's
Mm,
very messy.
very.
So I want to thank you, and I want to tell everybody out there, get the chairman. This book will most probably change of how people view a whole lot of things, and want to get them into that space too. It's available on Amazon.
It is available on Amazon.
Spaces that is also available.
You can reach out to the Zotwa Khoza Foundation, which is a foundation which is run by my mother in Deep Kloof, Soweto. It's an entrepreneurial and skills development center. So, and if you need contact with anybody who's suffering from substance abuse, we do have relationships with different counselors and things like that. There's an on-site pastor that's available. Anybody who needs assistance, they can contact us directly. If all the numbers are on the website, you can call and book an appointment. I don't charge at all. There's also other partners that we're currently developing programs. There's one of our partners who actually has a property. He's got a facility in the Eastern Cape, and he's establishing multiple programs with the Department of Sports, Rec and Arts and Culture, with social development. And just to announce as well, I have land in Didier, but it's still to be developed, where we want to create a recovery village.
It has a lot of space. There's a lot of open space in Didier.
Yeah.
And that would be so beautiful, because I know years ago was known as the graveyard.
Mm.
People will get murdered.
Interesting.
And bodies will just be dumped there. So it would be beautiful if something like that could be erected in sake of that. Something beautiful, you know, beautiful
Absolutely.
ashes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, phenomenal man. And I
Thank
hope
you.
to see you very soon.
Thank you.
We're looking out for the chairman, wherever you are today. If you're at the bookstore, if you're doing your shopping, go buy it. 0641196071. This is the morning after, and I'm Mocha D, and I was in conversation with Sibasiso Mutuli. And actually, I didn't miss it. Don't worry. You can catch up again. You will never miss. Everything is on time. Never tell yourself, oh, I've missed out.
Yeah.
I believe if you're supposed to see it, you're supposed to hear it, it will find you.
Power.
So thank you. So
Muchas
I really
gracias.
appreciate it.